Hey Meat Cutting Academy crew. Today we're going to be diving into cow anatomy and we're going to answer a question I get all the time. What is flank steak and where does it come from? If you're a home butcher or just love a good flank fajita, this video is for you. Stick around. Let's cut into it. This is a bag of flank steaks I bought over at US Chef's food store. I bought this morning. I paid $7.39 a pound for it. And it probably has about 4 flank steaks in there, 4 or 5 maybe, and I got it for $44.19. So let's cut into this guy and see how many we have in the bag. Most grocery stores, they're selling these guys like the one I work at. I think we're in the high $8 a pound range, maybe even $9 a pound. So $7.39 isn't too terribly bad for these. That is a huge flank steak. So it looks like we have 3 flank steaks here. They're all fairly large. Okay, first let's talk about what a flank steak is. It's a long, flat cut, usually 1 to 2 pounds, known for its bold flavor and distinct grain. It's lean, almost no fat, which makes it perfect for marinades and grilling. But where does it come from? All right, let me show you this diagram right here. The flank steak is part of the flank subprimal located in the lower abdominal area of the cow. Picture this. It's the belly muscle right below the loin and right in front of the hind legs. This spot right behind the rib cage where the ribs end and the head of the hind quarter. It's a hard-working muscle with a lot of connective tissue, but that's what gives it that beefy taste we love. If you're breaking down a carcass, you can find the flank steak in this lower section of the torso. It's sandwiched between the plate primal, where the skirt steak lives, and the round. The muscle itself is pretty flat and wide, which is why it looks the way it does when we buy it. Alright guys, that's enough talking about anatomy. Let's get into cutting this bad boy. So what you're going to want to do is trim off some of this fat. There's really not a lot on here to trim off. You don't really want to cut too much into that muscle. Okay. All this right here, you could just leave all that on there. It's not really going to hurt anything. Let's see if I can... Yeah, there's really not a lot you can trim off on that. Really, the parts you want to focus on are the top and the bottom. Those are usually the parts that have the most connective tissue. All the silver skin right there. I'm going to try to get that off. Underneath. There we go. Okay, that looks... Okay. All right. I like the way that one looks. I'm not going to take too much more out for that. I'm going to roll that up and put it in my bowl here. Got 2 more to cut, guys. Let's trim off some of this fat here. Okay. It's really easy to cut too far into this thing. The fat on this is really shallow. Okay, looks pretty good. Yeah, like I said, very minimal trim. This one's got a little bit more fat. This one's pretty fatty. Alright guys, I think it looks pretty good on this one. Take off the silver skin here. Alright, I think that looks pretty good for me. Got 1, 2, 3 nicely trimmed flank steaks. Alright guys, all done trimming this. Got our flank steaks here, and then we've got our pile of trimmings. Mostly beef fat. We've got a little bit of meat in there, but not a whole lot. If you learned something new, hit that like button. And if you want more meat cutting tips, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next video.